I clicked, got it.
Great.
It says we're streaming.
Yay. So some of you might be seeing this already on your screens. We're just waiting for the actual go ahead from Facebook and everything to let us know that we are here. And we are live.
Working.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, welcome everybody. This morning I am here with you going live with the beautiful Mel Watt. And Mel is a female empowerment photographer. I've actually done some work with her myself. More about that later. We'll probably do a separate interview about that. But I wanted to bring Mel on today. She's been working with us for only a couple of months in our Beacon program. And some of the shifts already have been astounding. Her readiness for this work has just been next level. And I wanted to open a conversation today with Mel around this core wound we have as women. And it's something that comes up a lot in our Beacon program. It's one of the sort of fundamental things we work on. And it's about being seen and heard. Let's get real about being seen and heard and what that even means and the multiple levels that we go through around that. In social media, especially when you're producers like I am and like Mel is, it can be easy from the outside to look in and sort of go, okay, they've got it all going on. They're fine with being seen and heard. Why can't I step up in that way? And yet the truth is we all have a next level of being seen and heard. We all have that next level challenge. And I know, Mel, when you joined us with the Beacons, that was something sort of playing in your field a little bit around that next level for you. Let's start there. Like what was the impetus for joining a program like ours, which is all around taking yourself, I guess, to that next level in a way that brings you into a deeper connection sort of with yourself? Why were you attracted to that and what was happening in your world?
Yeah, there was a couple of things happening in my world. One was because I think we did the program early February. So coming out of January was a really tough month for me because going through perimenopause. It was a bad month of insomnia, just ongoing, and it was relentless. And so I was feeling really fragile at the time. I was looking for something to help me. I didn't think it was going to be this because I was searching for some sort of nutritionist. But there was something that resonated with me about your program. I don't remember what it was now, but it just really spoke to me. And also at the same time, I really was struggling having a voice for myself for what I do and how I help women. Like I do struggle on social media, speak on social media and in public spaces too, when I'm around other people in business or networking events or being that public speaker. Yeah, I really struggle putting myself out there because I'm always thinking that someone's judging me or, you're not worthy to have a voice. I didn't feel like there was value around my voice, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a long-standing thing I've had.
Yeah, it's
long.
So interesting, is it? Yeah, long-standing. And so these core wounds that we have, as we know, come from other parts of this life, or maybe we bring them in from other lifetimes. What have you come to understand through doing this work, perhaps a little bit more about yourself, about where some of that has originated from?
Yeah, I think I think it's definitely, I think teenage years speak volumes for me. And I don't know if it's also around my parents' divorce too. And after that, there was a lot of yuckiness in my teenage years. And I mean, there's beautiful memories there, but there's a lot of yucky memories too that I didn't realize I was holding on to. Those feelings, until I guess some of the work we've been doing lately, until recently, how much impact that actually has on you. All that stuff that you hold on to.
And I think we underestimate, like you say, that the effect of that. We don't have to, I often say, we don't have to have had a big trauma in that period of our life for it to have a huge impact on how we show up lately in our later years. It can just be the mini micro traumas that accumulate through the meanness, let's say, you know, and the sort of lack of conscious awareness of those school years. And just various different things our parents might say, like unwittingly, or do that create those little mini wounds that go on to, affect how we show up later. And it's not until we start unraveling it all that we kind of go, oh.
And, you know, I hated speaking at school. I would speak like this. I hated looking up. I really did. And I know how important eye contact is. And there was no eye contact as a teenager. Couldn't look up.
And can you feel into, because like I say, Mel's only been with us a couple of months, and we're just starting to touch on some of these deeper things with Mel, you know, one-on-one, but are you aware of where that came from? So it's like we can kind of go, okay, our teenage years and some of the challenges there are affecting us here now. And then also there's something before that was affecting our teenager.
I don't think I can pinpoint it. It was definitely primary school years were the same too. But I don't recall anything as such. And
you know, from working with so many women now around this flavor, and just to share this with women out there, like do put if you resonate with this, like being seen and heard, pop it in the chat. While we're streaming live here from Zoom, it can be a little hard to sort of see comments coming up. It's a little bit squishy on my screen. We don't always get them coming up live, but if anyone pops a comment down, I will be running through everything either now or if you're catching this on the replay. So do put a question, do share how you relate to this in your own world about being seen and heard, because we can't always put our finger on really where the root is in this lifetime. This is a core wound that can run through our bloodline, through our ancestral DNA, and it can also run through kind of on a soul level of other lifetimes that we've led. And without going into that too much, that's also the deeper work we do at a later date. But what I wanted to touch in as well is that it's so interesting because Mel, as I shared with you a little bit before, does female empowerment photography. So you, in your own way, really help empower women to be seen and to really see and hear themselves in a new way, perhaps for the first time. And we have our own stuff going on around being seen and heard, right? And that's okay. So tell us a little bit about how you enjoy empowering that side within other women, and perhaps maybe, I'm not sure, just tell us, was it your own journey around that a little bit that led you to want to help other women in that way as well?
Oh, I love it. I really love it. It's so special. So it's just such a magical experience to witness women who do struggle with that and start to show up and own their space and own everything about themselves, which is power in itself. So that I was doing families and kids prior, and during that time I was starting to fall out of love. I didn't dislike it, but the love wasn't there like it used to be, and I was looking for a new purpose, but I didn't know what it was. And then I got a mild form of depression, and around that, coming out of that, it just opened my eyes to how that affects people. Like, until you've actually been through it yourself, you know, we can empathize with people no matter what it is, but until you've been through it, it just opened my eyes that, wow, God, if I just had a mild form, I didn't need medication or anything, but thought, God, some people must be really struggling out there. And I thought maybe I could help women with whatever they're going through with photography in some way. And I didn't really understand how that was going to happen, but I knew that I wanted the experience to be very, very raw, very real. And so it had to be no makeup. And I did it as a project first to see if it would be received, because I didn't know whether I could actually do it and would they turn up with no makeup. So but they did. And
Yeah.
you know, I got photographs from the beginning, so that were beautiful, and I could see the shifts happening with women very early. But it has taken me probably, you know, I'm still learning now how it affects women and the changes that it helps them with. And yeah, because every woman's story is unique and different, and they get
Yeah.
to, yeah.
And we have similar threads running through as well, right? Around that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And so you help them to really feel and see themselves in a whole new way. And we're helping you to feel and see yourself in a whole new way. So like, how does what you've learned so far in just a few short months? I think Mel joined us just in February, didn't you, Mother?
Yeah.
Um, in those sort of few short months of what you've learned about yourself and the tools that you've learned with us already, how has that impacted your life, and how has that perhaps impacted your work and the women that you work with?
I think one of the things that I got to connect with early, I shouldn't say straight away, but I suppose early, was the power of presence. You know, you sort of hear it, you know, you should be present in life, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm present, but you don't really understand it until you do work with you and how to do that and drop into that. And I started feeling that, and then the peace that was coming with that, and how powerful that was. That I was just like blown away by that, and how, because it was helping me not hook into the future and stories around me and things like that, and be really in the moment, fully present, and feeling the power of that. That all of a sudden I started thinking, I'm not thinking about the future like I was, and worrying about money or whatever it may be, all the past for that matter, and just feeling into the power, and how it just help you feel so calm and at peace. That, so with the work that I do with women, that I knew it was about being present, but now that I've got an understanding about it, that I can help them really feel that when I'm photographing them. So for them, you know, this experience is about them and doing something for themselves, and being able to come into my space and not be thinking about everything else going on in their life, and helping them to feel really present and in the moment, and giving them the space. And people ask me all the time how I do it, and I find it really hard to explain, but I guess it's the space, and I guess it's my energy too. So I'm very present and in the moment with them, that I think that invites them to do the same, I guess. And when I see them in the moment and fully present, that, and there's this sense of peace coming through, I can actually start them, seeing them really connect in and own who they are. I can see this confidence coming through, and you know, all the beautiful facets and quirks and traits that make up who they are start to come through as well. And I see them being very comfortable with that. There's a lot of things that are happening from what I'm learning with you coming into this. I should write them down. I know there's a lot. Think of anything else at the moment. And it's amazing. I'm loving it, how it just flows into this. Thing I'm learning.
It's a perfect sort of value add, isn't it? Because it's and thank you for saying that about, because I think that's a really important note, what you started with there, well, all of it, but how you led into that was that had this idea of presence and embodiment, because we talk about it, right? People talk about this sort of in the spiritual world. And yet the actual tangible, what does that actually mean? What do I actually have to do to be present? You know, is it just breathing? Well, yes and no. Is it just grounding? Well, yes and no. There's more than that. And I'm not going to share too much about that, but it's very specific how we train you to be present. And there are multiple levels of that presence. And like you say, once you actually learn that, you're like, oh my goodness, this is what I didn't know, you know. And what we also learn in the Beacons is how much when you are present, you entrain others. And I loved how you shared that, was that now that your presence is even greater, and you were doing a pretty good job before without even really knowing and not really being fully in your body. But now being even more present and more embodied, it entrains others to create that space of safety, and they just drop in without even knowing that they are.
Yeah.
And like you say, that leads to more
Yeah.
confidence, more ability to express ourselves, more calm. And
Yeah.
that goes to so many layers of our being, whether it's having a photo shoot or, like for yourself, showing up now in a bigger way. And I know you've had some speaking gigs and you're putting more stuff out on social media. You've got a book in the background here percolating away.
Yeah. That is the actual other thing that has come into play from working with you, is the understanding of embodiment. But the presence of the embodiment, understood it, but I didn't quite understand it, and I have brought that into my work, not fully understanding it yet, but knowing how that it is a very powerful thing. And now that I've sort of really sort of understand it more, I actually do have a style that I invite clients to experience if they'd like to, and I call it embodiment movement. And it's with some sort of piece of material, but it allows women to really drop into their body and get out of this head and be fully present during the shoot and just watch their body move and flow, and just witness this beautiful magical moment, where they're moving but they're right within themselves and very connected. And that has really helped me, I think, take that to another level. And witnessing you do that, oh my goodness. When I was behind the camera, really, it's just amazing.
Love that. And it's all about both of the things that what we do, right, is all about helping other women to step into their fullest and highest potential so that they can, in their own way, help other women. And, one of the sort of big demands, I suppose, of this path of the personal development, showing up in a higher way, is it's a courageous path. Do you agree? It's like, it's like, we go pretty deep pretty quickly. Anyone that's, if any of our beacons are watching this, just go, oh, yes. You agree with that we go pretty deep pretty quickly. And for some people that have been, on the spiritual path for a while, that's actually a challenge to really go to that next level of vulnerability, because we're used to doing things in a certain way and we do things a little differently in the beacons. And when we sometimes attract women in who haven't done anything for a while, it can be, or anything at all on the spiritual path, but they're attracted to this work, and it can be a real challenge because we're getting people to be pretty vulnerable pretty quickly. And what I noticed about you, Mel, is that you hadn't done a whole lot you've done a little bit of personal development, but not really sort of much in the spiritual world, not really anything much in group. And yet you had this capacity to stay with and to go deep and open wide, and also process on a mental level as well, very, very quickly. What do you put that down to? And what would you say to maybe other women thinking of something like this?
I'm trying to think back to moments where I really wanted to say no to Beck. Group stuff when she wanted me to ask me to do something, in front of the group, share something in front of the group. I think because I was at a really vulnerable place and I was yearning for someone to help me with. I was so fragile that I think I came open to whatever was going to come my way. And I guess that's surrendering, I suppose. But I think, I don't know if it's part of my DNA, but to be open and I think I was just craving to learn something. I really just, and I think the space felt really safe. It definitely felt safe in the group. I noticed that very quickly. And to anyone watching who was thinking about this, that, on arrival on my first day, not knowing anyone or briefly meeting a couple prior, that the women were so welcoming. Everyone hugs you, and they're just the warmest hugs. It's not like a forced hug. just the warmth and the energy was so beautiful. And I think that really helped with the way the space is. And I guess, and the other thing is, for personal development, it doesn't matter what you choose to do. It's not easy. It's not easy. It is definitely hard. But insane, when I say hard, it means you've got to do the work. Like I'm like a physics student, and I make sure I watch everything and notes, even though I don't retain everything, and I need to write some stuff down. But you do have to do the work, and you start, and you just keep going, even though you don't think anything's happening. You just got to keep going. And actually, that's a motto that's come into play again. When I did the project, one of my mantras was just do it and keep going. And it's funny, that's come into play again with this. With you, is just keep going. Because I knew that something would happen. And especially with your meditations too, your Monday meditations, probably one of my favorite things to do is that you sort of think, oh, I don't need to meditate. But when you do the meditation,
the mind.
The mind. Oh, I don't need it today. I'm feeling fine. But when you do it, it is so powerful and so beautiful. All of a sudden during the meditation, you can just feel what's happening. But it's just to keep going, and then things will start to happen. And be open to these new ideas, and just keep going. And meditation's not a chore for me. I just get up and do it. I love it. Part of my
so good.
Whereas before it wasn't,
I was going to say before it was not that story.
I was using the Headspace app, which was fabulous, and it is a beautiful introduction for people who want to learn about meditation. But it's nothing like what you do. Yours is just next level, and it's so beautiful that I just want to do it. I love doing it because I just feel so good, and it sets my day. I don't look at my phone. The first thing I do is the meditation, the journaling, and breakfast, and then I'm allowed to look at my phone.
Good on you. I was making notes. If you saw me just like looking down, it's because I was just making notes on what Mel was saying, because it was absolute gold of those what is required on the path. Like, it really is this sense of safety. And we do this physically in the program. It's like a whole day one of a 3-day program is really all about creating safety within us and safety in the container, so that people like Mel, and I love that you noticed that, can come into the room. And because all of our other beacons have been with us for quite some time, we have a whole year mastery program. This isn't just like a drop in, do a weekend and off you go. This is like, no, we're with you. Let's do this. Mastery over life. That we create that safe container from within out. And so that feeling safe to go there is a huge one. And I thank you for reflecting that we do that, and you felt that. And then the willingness to do the work. You have to have the desire, right? There has to be a willingness to go there, because that leads to the openness. That leads to, like you said, the surrender. And then what else did you say? Watching the mind kind of going, I don't need this, just kind of going, hang on a minute. Yes, there was a desire. There was some discomfort. I wanted to, be open to this change. So how about we just follow the path? And that everything slowly starts to reveal itself. Because our mind doesn't, and we're trained into this one-hit wonder. We're trained into the shiny object, the magic bullet, and none of that is really real. It is an unfolding. Our life is an unfolding. So of course, any healing, any personal development, any real thing that creates massive solid change is a slow reveal, like as we build the foundations and we build the foundations and build the foundations, until a year later, 3 years later, we turn around and go, who am I? Like, I'm, showing up in such a different way now. And you've harnessed all of that so quickly to have established even a routine that you enjoy, that you don't have any resistance around. This early in the piece is huge. Like, let me tell you, like, that's actually huge for like 3 or 4 months. It's massive. So I love that. I love that the level of your openness, and I want to celebrate that about you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
I think your space felt so safe that reflecting back on it now, the first day I didn't stop crying till the afternoon, I think. But I must have felt safe to do that, because normally I wouldn't do that, but the tears just flowed
Yeah.
until about the afternoon sometime. I can't remember, it was like 1 or 2. I just started to notice that all of a sudden they weren't flowing,
I'm
but
not crying.
yeah, just it
Yeah.
obviously like the space that it was just, and I think, yeah, it was beautiful to be able to do that and just, because I was very fragile at that point, just let it all flow. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Love that. Because let's not paint a shiny picture around the personal development path. Like Mel said, we all know in reality it's challenging, but it's also challenging to squash it all down and ignore everything and carry on with all the discomfort and the struggle and the fear and the guilt and the mind and all of that, which eventually leads to dis-ease in various aspects of our life. Hey, so
yeah. And I think the other thing is knowing now that I'm going to be okay. Like, I guess with some discomfort that does come through, do some of the work that, yeah, it's okay. I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. And that, yeah, because it's not easy at first. But as we know, change and working on yourself is never easy, and life is not meant to be easy. And yeah, you get there, and the support is so beautiful. The group is so beautiful, the way they support each other, with no matter what's going on in your private Facebook group. And in person too, the support is just like, it's next level, nothing I've seen before.
Yeah.
No negativity.
Magic.
Oh, credit to you, of course, as well.
Yeah. Thank you. And it's all worth it, right? Because we get to step up in greater ways. Keep an eye out on Mel, because as the confidence grows, and like you say, it's the ripple effect. Sometimes we want these sort of massive things to happen, but the beauty and the reality is that it's the ripple effect of how we show up in a more present, confident, calm way, that every interaction we have, creates healing, right? Creates an opportunity for other people to really know themselves and to feel more fulfilled, to feel more connected, to feel more peace. And I think if we can have that in the world, that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. People, I don't think people realize how much they're affected by other people's energy. And I certainly am. And that's another thing I'd love to learn I've learned from you, is building that strength inside me to, I can't think of the right words. I'm sure you'll replace them. But I've got a blank. But
protect yourself, you mean? Like to sort of really, really hold your energy?
Yeah, from other people that I'm really affected by. And that's really powerful. Very, very powerful, because I'm an empath and I'm very affected by people's energy. And it's funny, all of a sudden I get affected, and it's like, oh no, you can protect yourself here. And I just drop in and do that, and then it moves away. It's quite beautiful.
Yeah. And that's, I love that you say that too, because I know many people in the past would have either, because we talk about, again, it was one of the core things with women, because so many women are often caregivers and empaths. And that we can flip between just absorbing everything because we don't want to push people away and we want to connect and we want to help, or putting a wall up because we're like, I've got compassion fatigue, I can't do this anymore, I need to pull back. And we teach women ways of how to protect themselves, but still keep a really beautiful connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still use those amazing sensitive superpowers without needing to shut them down and without getting drained. So love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you for taking all of this presence, confidence, energetic protection. Thank you for showing up in the way that you do, even more so every day with this work. And thank you for sharing it with the women that you do through the empowerment work that you do as well. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been fun. I've loved the conversation. It's been beautiful.
Great. You had nothing to worry about.
It is good not having the questions first, because your brain just goes.
Exactly. Oh, hang on, something funny just happened with my screen. Yeah, we talked about that before. And this is a huge bit, for those of you listening, another little key thing about sort of being over prepared, how the mind wants to be over prepared. It wants to know what's happening. And you know what? Sometimes we're better just to roll with it. Like I said,
that was
we're not going
good.
to pre-plan these questions. We're just going to drop in. This is the power of presence. When we overcomplicate things and we plan things too much with our mind has something to kind of, it has some kind of narrative to kind of work with, to worry about. And when we trust and learn to just be in presence is our connection to source. It's our connection to that ultimate wisdom, out of the worries of the mind, out of the shoulds. How's that going to look? And we can just trust that. And the more we start to live in that, the more it helps the rest of our life just to move with more grace, more ease, more confidence. Because like you said, Mel, when we're present, we stop worrying about what we're being seen like. We stop worrying about what's going to happen in the next moment, in the next week, in the next year. And we can just fully be with this moment. And
it is just powerful, so powerful.
You're powerful. You're powerful, those of you watching us. So thank you, Mel. That was amazing. Always so great to chat with you. And if anyone has any questions here on the chat, just pop a comment below. We're going to be tagging Mel when we jump off here. If anyone is interested in connecting with Mel with some incredible black and white photography, getting really raw and real and seeing and feeling yourself in a whole new way. I've had this experience with Mel. It was next level, and I've done a bunch of photography sessions. It was amazing. And I know some of you have seen that on my page. Have a little scroll down. If you haven't, we'll be doing another interview around that later on. And if you're interested in this, it's power of presence work and the deep mastery work around personal spiritual development and marrying the practical and the spiritual so that you can show up in your business, in your life, in your relationships in a powerful way, in a peaceful way, in a passionate way, and without burning out and letting your fears really hijack you, then reach out to me. We'll pop a link in the comments below around how you can put a foot in, or your whole self in the Beacon program, or whatever level you might be ready for, and we can have a chat about whether it's something that's right for you.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to head off now. So thank you so much, anyone that's tuned in live. I'll be jumping on and checking to see if there's any comments. If you're watching the replay, thank you for checking in. And thank you, Mel. Always a pleasure.
That's amazing.
Take care, beautiful souls. And we'll see how we get to end this.